Today we're going to be doing my favorite assignment of the entire school year, and you're going to be writing a letter to yourself. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Just make sure you send me a message saying, hey, I saw the video, I don't want to do it. I'll give you credit, no problem. Most of you are going to want to do it. You're going to be writing a letter to yourself, and in 5 or 10 years, I'm going to actually mail it to you. This year's, I have their letters ready to go. I'm just kind of waiting for this whole thing to die down with the virus or whatever, and then they're going to get their letters. And those are students I had 5 years ago. So what you're going to do is you're going to write a letter. I will not read these letters. I'm going to stress that. I have no interest in reading the letters unless you tell me I can. If you say, hey, Mr. Valva, you can read a letter, I'm totally going to read a letter. I'm being honest with you. If you don't want me to read a letter, don't say it, and you don't have to worry about that. It should be private if you want it to be private. So what I'm going to have to do is we're doing things a little bit differently this year than normally because of our situation. So you're going to write up the letter. Make sure you write it in a Word document. Don't send it to me in an SV message or anything like that. And the first page, you're going to put any contact information that I should be aware of in order to contact you in the future to give you your letter. And then just hit enter a bunch of times. And then on the second page, this is where you actually would start your letter. This is where you'd start your letter to yourself. That way I can actually print it out. And when I print out your second letter, I'm in no danger of reading it up here. And I'm just going to print it out, fold it up, slip into an envelope, and mail it to you. But 5 and especially 10 years is a long way from now. So things change, right? You might not be at the same address. You might not have the same contact information. So on the first page, you're going to give me your contact information. Give me as much or as little as you want. I've had students in the past say, hey, send it to this address, and I don't want you contacting me other than that. No problem. You don't have to give me your email. You don't have to give me your social media or anything like that. This is only if you want to. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to have a hierarchy of a list. And you're going to list it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. And in order, you're going to put down what you want me to do first. So let's look at this situation here. Let me change these to numbers. That makes more sense. There we go. Oh, well, that's letters. There we go, numbers. So if I was seeing this list from a student, I would email them first. And I'd wait about a week. And if I never heard back from them, then I would go on to whatever social media they gave me. Maybe they gave me Facebook. Maybe they give me whatever. Make sure you give me a link. Because if you give me, because I didn't think of this in the past, I'm running into it now. Some students gave me their Facebook, and there's more than one of them, right? Especially if you have a very common name. And you don't look the same way you do 5 or 10 years ago. So I'm going through going, oh no, which one are they, right? So make sure you give me the actual URL that's unique to your social media. That way I know I can go ahead and contact you. Or whatever the case might be. So in this situation, I'm going to email the student first. If I don't hear back from them in about a week, I'm going to go onto their social media. And I'm going to contact them. Hey, this is Mr. Valva, blah, 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 blah. What's a good address for me to email, what's a good address to mail out your letter to? And then lastly, if I didn't hear from the first two things, I never heard back from email, never heard back from on social media, I'm just going to mail them the letter at their address. And if it's them, that's great. If it's not, there's nothing else I can do at that point. So that's why I make sure to tell you that you put down as much or as little information as you want. Because once I run out of these resources, I am not going to stalk you. I am not going to hunt you down. That is super creepy, right? So I'm not going to be doing that. So please keep that in mind. If I run out of options here, you're not going to get your letter, unfortunately. And it's just, and I can't hold letters if I'm not able to reach you, just in the off chance you contact me. I literally have hundreds of letters right now, stored and ready to go, but I just can't go through all of them. It's just not possible. So please keep that in mind. Make sure you put that here. And then the last thing you're going to tell me is, do you want it in 5 years or 10 years? I recommend 10, but you could do 5 if you want. Don't put down 6. Don't put down 8. If you put down 6, 7, 8, if you put down any number other than 5, I'm just going to toss you in the box for 10 years. because I can't be putting everybody everywhere. It gets too confusing. All right? So 5 years or 10 years, and that's when it will happen. So in that summer, excuse me, in that summertime is when you would get your letters, barring any emergencies like we're currently in. They're going to probably get theirs in the fall. So in the summertime, I'm going to write up a whole bunch of envelopes, a whole bunch of letters, and I'm going to be mailing them to you. Unfortunately, we can't have handwritten letters this year, right? That's what I usually like to do, but that's okay. That's one of the drawbacks, but one of the positives is it's kind of cool to get a letter from yourself, right? And it might be cool to get it during a time like this. It might add something extra to it. Who knows? So the reason why we're doing this is it's fun, and it gives you an opportunity to experience something I went through when I was a junior, actually, at Alonzo, as you all know. My teacher let us do this. And when I was 27, I actually got it in the mail. And that was really cool. And students love this activity, which is why I'm doing it. I'm trying to give you the opportunity to do the same thing I did. And it's great. So when I run into students after they graduate years in the future, I actually just had this happen about 3-4 weeks before the whole virus thing. I don't know, whatever. Sometime in like January. So I was walking through the mall and I ran to a former student of mine. And the first two questions I always get. First question I always get is, hey, how you doing? Are you still at Alonzo? Blah, blah, blah. The next question, do you still have our letters? Are you really going to mail those out still? I always get asked about the letters. It happens all the time. And I love it because it's really, really cool. So, that's it for today. Like I said, you don't want to do it, don't do it. That's fine. You want to do it, that's fine. Take your time. I have a due date on the letters just because, SB wants us to put one in. But as long as you get it in by the end of the grading quarter, I'll give you credit for it. You won't lose any late points. And that's about it. Some frequently asked questions. Go over really quickly about these letters. And they're kind of dark, so bear with me. What if, like, my house burns down and all the letters burn up? You can't get your letter if it's burned up. Sorry. What happens if for any reason I'm not able to get you your letter, whatever reason that might be? My wife knows about them, whether she gets them out to you or not. I have no control over that. And what happens if you're unable to get your letter for whatever reason? I probably won't know or be fully aware of it, or whatever the case might be. And if you did leave an address as part of these three things, email, social media, address, I am just going to send it to that address, and whatever happens at that point happens, because I want to make sure that I do everything I need to do in terms of this. Okay, so I hope you all enjoy this. Have fun with it. You can write a serious letter. You can write a goofy letter. You can do whatever you want. I'm not reading them unless you tell me I can read them. And I hope